How you doing? It just took me a walk. You know how I be with the solitude and everything. But it's like, yeah, I want to make a video real briefly to tell you guys, you know what I mean? Like, I love y'all. I care for y'all, right? But we got to always get back to the get back. And I really want to make this video about trusting yourself, right? And this video, like I said, is, you feel me, for everybody, but mainly for those out there that's coming from a dysfunctional situation, right? Coming from a dysfunctional situation, you dealt with people that try to basically shut your inner criticism down. Take this off, right? And not allowing you to be able to have, you know, a voice of yourself, really trying to distort your reality, right? So when you try to fend for yourself, you try to express yourself, you try to, you know, figure out a solution for the issue, right? It seems like you're always being dismissed, right? Not being taken serious. And this goes for anybody, regardless of your age, where you fit in your sibling, you know, childhood experience, right? I just really want us to understand that, like I said, like, you know what I mean? A lot of things had happened, and even our nervous system started to believe like everything was normal, right? And this is why I always try to express and open up about trauma bonding, because, you know, when you're going through all these things and these experiences and you don't have the conscious and you don't have the awareness to know what's going on, right? You're more prone to allow more trauma into your life by trauma bonding to other people, right? Misery likes company. I'll say it again. Misery likes company, misery likes company, misery likes company, right? People are suffering out here. People are hurting out here. And you guys see me consistently trying to, you know what I mean? This is a lifestyle. I gotta spend time alone. I gotta get away from it. I gotta detach, right? I gotta make sure I have positive information, positive knowledge, positive podcasts. You feel me? This is what we do, right? Because we have to sustain ourselves. This is what we need to keep ourselves at a healthy vibration, right? And you're gonna realize too, once you start to improve, you're gonna realize that some people, they're gonna start to perceive you as a threat. Competition, because in other words, demons come out, you know what I mean, out of them, their shortcomings, their insecurities, right? Their implications, their problems, like their, you know, their lack of starts to come out. And the thing about them in specifics with other people, like I said, are coming from this dysfunctional dynamic, is that they went through their own experience of pain. But how they process their emotions and their moods, right, and their experiences is very different. They're passive aggressive in this sense. You know what I mean? Most of these individuals, right, like I really want to be real with y'all. I really want us to open up. I really want us to develop this context, because this is what's going to allow us to heal, is we got to get real. We got to be authentic, right? And I know that in some of our dynamics, right, whatever happened at home is usually what has to stay in the home, right? And this is something that I want us to take in consideration, because that doesn't allow us to grow. That doesn't allow us to evaluate. That just allows us to stay stagnant, stuck in that family system, and allows us to kind of suppress our emotions to accommodate somebody else. We got to really understand what's going on, because some of us out here are you feel me? It's crazy. And that's what I'm saying. For some people out here that's coming from dysfunctional dynamics, that their mindset is in a survival mindset, and you're not really thinking thoroughly because of the lack of control, the manipulation, the dysfunction that you're under, and you don't even realize it, because once again, your body, it feels normal. You're so used to this stuff, right? But I really want you, like I said, to detach and spend times like this. You get around, you feel me? Got library right behind me, you feel me? But it's just like, in a real way, get around conducive environments where you can able to think for yourself thoroughly, so you're able to get back in tune with your inner thoughts, right? And realize that you're enough, right? And that everything that you're experiencing is true. Because one thing I want to share with you guys about my experience is that, you know, I wanted to see people the way I wanted to see them, in this gracious light, right? Some of us, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Like I said, some of us out here, we see our guardians, our parents as superheroes, and you're gonna realize that they're human beings. They make mistakes, they do stuff, right? They have their flaws, they have their pros, they have their cons, they have their strengths, they have the weaknesses, right? They do things the way they want to do things, right? And sometimes we realize too, sometimes they don't want to change. Sometimes they get stuck in their ways and they just, you know, they do what they do. But we have to realize too that these things affect us, and it hurts. And it's unsettling when you're a child, right? Or you're a young adult, you're a teenager, and you're trying to have conversation with your parents and open up to them about your vulnerabilities, but there's no confidentiality, there's no trust. The belittling, you know what I mean? The lacking of the support, right? You're trying your best in school, and it seems as if that the grades that you get is not enough, right? Some people don't know how to love you in a healthy way, and that's, you feel me? I'm not gonna sit here and say that that's okay and excuse it, right? But we have to also too meet people at their capacity on where they're at, because they may not have got the love in a healthy way based on their experiences. But my thing is this though, when we know better, we need to start doing better. Because my thing is this though, this is what's dysfunction, is that when you keep having the same conversations, expressing yourself, real emotions, yo, like you really opening your heart up to these people, yo, the people that you love, and nothing changes. So New Year's revolution after New Year's revolution, after family meeting after family meeting, after conversation after conversation, and nothing improves, what does that tell us? Whether this person doesn't care, whether this person doesn't have the capacity to apply the effort, whether the person is just, wants to do what they want to do, and they're more consumed on themselves. We feel me? We can consistently keep on, making, outcomes for other people's behavior, but we'll truly never know. My fault if you see me on the swivel, like we outside, so I gotta always, always gotta be alert, hypervigilance, you know what I mean? But it's just, yeah, like I said, we have to be, you gotta be alert what's going on. A lot of us out here living in deception, and it's costing you, limiting your full potential. We gotta start as individuals developing our own value system, right? Assessing your family, assessing your bloodline, assessing your parents' behaviors, the good and the bad, right? And developing some type of filter system, you know what I mean? Just like water, it goes to a filter system, so you drink the clean water, right? Because, you feel me? You don't know what's in the water before you feel me? You put it in your body. Come on now, we gotta really, like I said, reassess what's going on, right? Like, we can't just be letting things just fly. We gotta be more critical on what's going on. We gotta really stand on business. We gotta really set boundaries. We have to let people know how to treat us. We have to express ourselves. We have to be authentic. We have to teach people how to treat us. You feel me? And I'm breaking this down so that anybody out here can understand. But anybody out here, like I'm pouring myself out for y'all, because I really want us to understand. Yo, like this is not a game out here. It's not a game. It's not. Because when it comes to comfortability, it's all about patterns, And I'm letting you know that there's some strategic people out here that are studying your moves, tapping in with your temperature, trying to see where you're at cognitively, like, you feel me? If they can one-up you, if they can play with you, manipulate you, control you, you feel me? Like, there's people out here that are very strategic, and I'm telling you right now, yo, they could be around you. They could be your friend. They could be in your family. I gotta be real with you, yo. And that's why I keep continuously go hard when it comes to personal development, because no one out here is really going to really give you more than what you got to give yourself. And I'm spending the time with myself to look within, and all these things is coming out. And I want you guys to see the greatness that you guys have and your potential, but you got to get away from the dysfunction. You got to make a change. You got to take action. You got to set the boundaries. You got to get the support. You know what I mean? This didn't just happen within a snap of a finger, right? I had to get the support. I had to, get outside my comfort zone. And I want to say this too, it's easier said than done. And I'm not trying to break anybody's family apart. That's not my prerogative. That's not my obligation. My obligation is to give you the awareness so that you have the protection. That's my obligation. Because like I said, people out here are coming from dysfunctional families, and you're compromising yourself to be around people that's going to deceive you, use you, abuse you. And they may not even have the emotions that they don't feel what you feel, yo. They don't feel what you feel. These people are just, they don't feel what you feel. They get a thrill off of your emotions. They get a thrill off of when you're down. They get a thrill off of your sadness. They get a thrill off of you feel me? Under their provision, under your control. Understand the influencers. Understand the people around you. Yo, listen to my words, please. Be conscientious around the people that you're around, but at the same time, too, evaluate people's behavior. Observe people's behavior. Don't absorb people's, emotions and what they got going on. Because, like I said, misery likes company. People got their own ish out here. You know what I mean? But observe people's behavior. Just like we in the streets right now, right? You got to have book smarts. You also got to have street smarts. You feel me? You got to know what you got to. You feel me? Head on the swivel. Because people have their own agenda. People have their own prerogative. And I got to keep it a buck with you. Street people know this, right? It's a dog-eat-dog world out here. People are thinking for themselves, and I need you to wake up. You got to think for yourself. You have to spend time with yourself. You got to really, like I said, personal development. Get away from people that's not going to really give you the love that you need to be able to get where you need to go. You have a purpose. You have a prerogative. You have a destiny. You have a calling. You have gracious gifts inside you, and you'll never find them if you don't get out of the dysfunction, if you don't get out of these stressful environments, if you don't get around these people that, you feel me, don't have the best interest. But you have to spend the time to really, like I said, look within. I'm gonna get back to my walk because, like I said, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes I'll be having these thoughts and I'm like, yo, let me give this to the people. Let me share this with the people. You know what I mean? So I really do this for real, y'all. You feel me? I really do this for real, right? You know what I mean? But once again, information turns into that knowledge, right? And that knowledge turns into that protection that you're going to need for life. Keep your head on the swivel. Love yourself with that compassion. But please give yourself the time so you're able to reassess. Stay blessed.